This video is sponsored by Conflict of Nations, the free online strategy game happening in a modern global warfare. Set in the early 21st century, Conflict of Nations lets you take full control of a nation and find out what it's like to lead it in a modern global warfare. Fight up to 128 other players using everything from combat attack helicopters and airborne infantry units to stealth fighters and even nuclear ballistic submarines as you move your units across the map in real time, often taking hours to reach an objective. With game rounds that can take weeks to complete, you'll forge alliances and coalitions with other players, which are essential if you want to win. But best of all, you can play with the same account on both PC and mobile to never lose sight of your war. Infographics show viewers get a special gift of 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free when they use the link. But it's only available for 30 days, so click the link, choose a country, and start fighting your way to victory right now. Thunder clapped on a dark, stormy night over the heart of Nazi Germany in late April 1945. Luftwaffe radar operators scanned the skies, watching for signs of Allied bombing raids. The hum of propellers filled the air as the few remaining squadrons prepared to defend the Reich for potentially the last time. Their world was literally crumbling from within and without. The youngest ones cursed Hitler for dragging them and their families into interminable ruin. Glancing skyward between ruminations, one searchlight operator strained his eyes in disbelief. "Was ist das?" he exclaimed, pointing at an anomaly through a gap in the clouds. The man next to him looked up, struggling to track the fast-moving wedge-like object that seemed to materialize out of the darkness. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen, because it wasn't anything they'd ever seen. This wasn't a Lancaster or a B-17, this was a B-2 Spirit, one of the deadliest stealth bombers ever invented, somehow flying a mission over Germany in 1945. Could this solitary stealth reaper single-handedly sound the death knell of the Third Reich? Find out in today's episode of The Infographics Show. What if a single B-2 bomber time-traveled to Germany during World War II? Captain Marcus Taylor wiped the sweat from his brow as he adjusted his headset. He was a pilot of Nightshade, one of only 19 B-2 Spirits in existence. He was flying a routine training exercise over the barren Nevada desert with his co-pilot, Major Sarah Jenkins. Suddenly, the world around them twisted and darkened. The imposing skyline pulsed and glimmered as a dense static flooded their communication channels. A blinding flash engulfed the B-2. When the light faded, Taylor found himself staring at the landscape below in disbelief. "Where are we?" he asked Jenkins, a tinge of fear in his voice. Jenkins nodded, equally stymied. "No idea," she said. Nevada's dry flats were gone, replaced by a verdant green landscape draped in a beautiful sunset. In the distance, Taylor could see dark, imposing forests carved up with beautiful blue rivers. Occasionally, he could see what looked like a bombed-out city. It was different from the test ranges he'd seen in the US or the targets he'd seen during his tour in the Middle East. Eerily different. Glancing into his heads-up display, he noticed the onboard GPS flickering and freezing, as if the unanticipated leap through the space-time continuum had fried its components. The lack of the GPS system didn't matter for Nightshade. Embedded under a circular glass window was a series of accelerometers and gyroscopes used to calculate the B-2's speed, direction, and time. Known as an Astro-Inertial Navigation System, or ANS, Taylor knew the modified astronavigation computer was busy comparing the B-2's flight data with the sighting angles of the stars in the sky. In seconds, it spit out Nightshade's exact location, a modified celestial tracking system that would have made Magellan proud. "You're not going to believe this," Taylor said. "It's saying we're due east over France, about to cross over into Germany." Captain Taylor banked and glanced out onto the horizon, draped by the last golden rays of the setting sun. Even from far away, he could make out the unmistakable silhouettes of a series of tightly packed formations of B-17 bombers. They moved in steady waves, their contrails streaking the heavens like threads woven across the horizon. He rubbed his eyes again. "Wait, is this 1945? uttered Jenkins. Taylor told Jenkins to strap in. "We're going with them." They were in far safer hands, cocooned in the advanced cockpit of their B-2 Spirit, than their compatriots in their B-17s. In 1945, no radar on Earth could even dream of detecting Nightshade. The B-2 bomber's unique shape and advanced radar-absorbing materials coating the fuselage made it nearly invisible in the modern day, and even more so in 1945. The aircraft's ability to minimize its own electronic emissions was world-renowned. It had the radar cross-section, or RCS, of a bumblebee, even on the most modern and sophisticated radar screens. Designed for modern warfare, its unique flying wing design and stealth capabilities made it the pinnacle of technological innovation. It was the type of Wunderwaffe Hitler's sycophantic engineers could only dream of. The bomber was armed with a payload of Joint Direct Attack Munitions, or JDAMs. These GPS-guided bombs were capable of hitting their targets with precision from miles away. These JDAMs also utilized inertial navigation systems, allowing onboard gyroscopes and accelerometers to guide the munition on a pre-programmed flight path to its target. The radio burst to life. The crew listened in, realizing that they were hearing real-time Luftwaffe communications. Somewhere down below, German air defenses were preparing for an attack. But it wasn't from them. It was for the B-17s making their nightly raids. Unwilling to hang behind and wait for the B-17s to drop thousands of bombs hoping one might hit their target, Taylor made a decision. They were going to Berlin. They could end the war once and for all. The stealth bomber glided silently through the twilight over France, moonlight glinting off its sleek bat-like fuselage. Beside him, Jenkins input coordinates, her brow furrowed in concentration. Nearing the German border, sprawling formations of B-17 bombers ranged out beneath them. Within minutes, these joined with even more coming across the channel, their silver bodies glimmering in the moonlight. The roar of their engines, barely audible from inside the B-2 above, nevertheless offered an ominous symphony to those below. Nightshade, however, was like a ghost among them, its exhaust ports on the top of the plane emitting minimal exhaust. The efficient design enabled its F-118 GE-100 engines to run at lower power settings. It was a silent specter skimming across the skies, just under the sound barrier. Taylor already had a target in mind, one that would strike at the heart of the Nazi Party, Hitler's underground bunker. He directed Jenkins to input the coordinates into Nightshade's 30,000-pound GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP. It was the largest bunker buster in the Pentagon's inventory. Fortunately for the Allies, the B-2 Spirit was the only warplane on Earth capable of carrying not one, but two of these 6-meter-long Earth-penetrating munitions. It was more than enough firepower. Each one of these chonkers could penetrate up to 200 feet of Earth. It was expressly designed to destroy nuclear test facilities located well underground. Hitler's bunker was conveniently located about 55 feet beneath the garden of the Reich Chancellery building, its roof made of concrete, just 10 feet thick. As they crossed over into Germany, a warning alarm whined in the cockpit. "Visual on searchlights," Jenkins exclaimed, pointing at the radar screen. "Looks like they're vectoring in fighters." They could both see squadrons of Bf-109s and FW-190s taking off from airfields well below and surging into the sky to intercept the B-17s. Nightshade was well safe from them. There was one aircraft that posed a sinister threat, the Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet. It was a rocket-powered interceptor drummed up by Hitler's scientists to try to drive a stake into the overwhelming net of Allied air superiority. Like the B-2, there were only a handful of them in existence, the bulk having been destroyed on the ground and in the air. The Me-163's tactic was to launch itself almost vertically to heights above 30,000 feet, before diving down through formations of vulnerable bombers. Neither Taylor nor Jenkins, however, could remember if it could overtake Nightshade in speed. On this night, it wouldn't matter. The Nightshade's matte black coating made it virtually impossible to see in the dark. In a few minutes, the danger was past. Nightshade descended to 10,000 feet. With the target coordinates locked in, the bunker's location flashed on their screens. They were minutes away from releasing their 2 JDAMs and executing one of the most consequential strikes in history. Even without GPS data available, Nightshade's crew was sure they could hit the intended target within 30 meters or less. With bombs this big, the variance didn't matter all that much. Berlin soon came into view. Eviscerated church towers, neighborhoods, and bomb-swept streets flashed by below. Taylor steadied his hands on the controls, preparing to release the munition in an off-axis dive. With surgical precision, his partner engaged the release system. The JDAM detached, its guidance system activating mid-air. It was an untraceable bolt from the blue, descending silently toward the unsuspecting Führer bunker. As the JDAM plummeted toward its target, they watched the bomb's descent on their HUD. Impact in 3, 2, 1, Jenkins counted. The screen flared with the explosion, an incandescent flash that lit up the night sky, rivaling the brilliance of 1,000 suns. Time seemed to stand still before the shockwave rippled through the air, sending vibrations through the B-2's frame. "Direct hit," Sarah shouted. Taylor took a brief second to wonder whether Hitler had been inside, before tilting his yoke left back toward the United States. Glancing at his fuel gauge, he saw that their B-2 still had more than 5,000 miles in the tank, more than enough to make it home. As they crossed back over the channel into friendly territory, they decided to conduct a brazen flyby next to a couple of limping B-17 bombers, fresh off another run over Germany. The door gunners could not believe their eyes as the bat-winged B-2 darted past into the ether. Thanks again to our sponsor Conflict of Nations, the free online PvP strategy game happening in a modern global warfare. Get a special gift of 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free by using the link. It's only available for 30 days, so don't wait. Choose your country and start fighting your way to victory right now. If you're ready for more jaw-dropping what-ifs, check out how a single F-22 time traveled to World War II, or click on this video instead.